and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Tonight's few events and announcements to make. Voting is on Tuesday, March 12th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Messinic. Candidates night will be Tuesday, March 5th at 7 o'clock at the town office. Reminder to those people that might be interested in a tour of the police station. Chief Carpenter has been holding open houses on Saturdays, and the next one is going to be scheduled for Saturday, March 9th, between 10 and 2. The other item is the town reports are now in, and they're available if you want a copy from the town office, and they are also online. Anything new from Rec Department? They normally have something.
They had a very successful father-daughter dance.
Good.
And they do have a mother-son dance coming up next month, so I'll make sure to get that date for you.
Okay, good.
And they have some activities. Give me 1 second.
They, I believe, have some
They
vacation
have some
week
things going on.
activities going on. I heard about some crafting.
They did a crafting today.
Yeah.
He had a flyer he had posted. I was trying to see where the activity flyer was, but if I can find it, I'll bring it up.
Okay. Jim, we'll get you out of the way first.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Okay.
I'll preempt it though. I did speak with Peter about contacting the bus company about rerouting during the.
Yeah, I don't want it, I didn't want it to sound like I don't want traffic on the road I live on. I'm not coming from that perspective, okay?
Yeah.
The road is a public road, it's meant to have traffic. But during mud season, I don't believe you have to let the bus on that road if it has no reason to be on it, other than the fact they're making a loop of some kind. If you look at the properties, there's only 2 houses in the middle of the road, mine and Eric Crooks. Everybody else at the end. Well, if I go to the north end, there's no kids. The south end, maybe one, but they're on Fox Farm Road. So I think it makes sense to keep a through bus off. Now, you mentioned to me about oil trucks and stuff like that. I'm very much involved with, I know about posting roads.
Mm-hmm.
You post a road, the oil truck can't go on the road, just take a shortcut. It's gonna go down the road because it has to make a delivery. So, I mean, I think there's a certain amount of common sense, but, you know, there's several times a day a bus goes through there, and during mud season, it doesn't do the road any good.
And that's why I thought it would be best to have Peter address it with
Yeah.
them because he deals with them.
But that was one comment. The other part is, if you look at the geometry of the roads in that area, it's a through road. It's the hypotenuse of a triangle.
Correct.
From
Yeah.
Smithville to Jaffrey or Peterborough, it's a short way to go. Now, not everybody takes it because it's not always perfect, but a lot of people do. I think we should take, and I'm not suggesting we do it tonight, but what I'm suggesting is that sometime, maybe this spring, we take a look at that road and see what we can do with it physically, or shut it down to through traffic over 12,000 pounds permanently. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, Jim. If it's a through road, it's a through road. Somebody wants to take a shortcut.
I don't have
We
a
have
problem
many of
with
them. Yeah.
But, but the road isn't built to be a through road and to be the shortcut for heavy traffic. It isn't designed for it. So the road would need some improvements. I'm not gonna say what they are. I'm not suggesting that you pave the road. Okay, I'm not suggesting you blow it out to 2 full lanes like you would on a brand-new road and cut all the trees down to the stone walls, no. But I think there's some things we can do to make the road better. And when I say better, I mean reduce the amount of time Peter and his crew have to be out there working on the road. I'm not complaining about the effort put into the road. They do a great job. But if the road was designed better and built better, they would be there less often. And that's where I'm coming from, and I just wanna start a
Okay.
dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that at least one of my neighbors probably is of a similar mind.
But we need to bear in mind it is a gravel road.
I know
And
that.
gravel roads are gonna get muddy, and that's why when you had advised us
When I
last
first
week
got involved
about a
with the
school
town-
bus going through there,
Yeah, but when I first got involved with the town, you know, Timber Top Road was a gravel road all the way. What's it now?
paved.
Beautiful.
I happen to maintain with a little bit of work at the ends, it could become the jackfruit bypass for 202. I don't wanna go there though. But I
Yes,
mean,
let's
you
not.
built it- you didn't quite get there, but yeah, what I'm getting at is, yes, it was a gravel road, now it's paved, okay? All our roads were unpaved at one time.
I'm sure they were.
Yes. And the one other thing I wanted to ask you about, or mention to you, is the new Ipswich Antique Fire Brigade, of which I am probably the last member listed with the state of New Hampshire. I mean, people have died off.
I thought the Carolinians were part of that, no?
What?
The Carolinians aren't part of that?
David was, as far as a member goes.
Okay.
There hasn't been a meeting in over 2 years. There
Okay.
should be meetings, okay? I am effectively resigning this spring. I will not be filling out the forms. I will take it down as an entity on the state website. It will cease to exist. You are aware what happens when it ceases to exist. The building comes back to the town. The equipment belonged to the town all along.
Right.
I think the reason I'm doing this and the reason I'm no longer interested in it was because I thought the fire department would have some interest and the historical society.
Well, the fire department does have an interest.
Only in words, not in deeds. And I don't mean to be mean when I say that. They have done nothing.
I'm gonna-
Occasionally they want something. to come out.
Let me interrupt you, okay, and tell you what I have been told by the fire chief, okay, directly. Members on the fire department want to work on getting the engine up and running. They do not want to be, and I'll be clear, do not want to be involved with maintenance of the building. But they do want to work on the engine.
Can't have it both ways.
Then that's something that has to be discussed amongst them, because as you're saying, once the current organization
Yeah,
cease to exist, the building will have to be maintained by the town.
Yeah.
And I know I've had on my notes here to try and get the 2 Daves in to figure out what they're gonna do with the Montechusett, or Wachusett.
It's not what they're gonna do with it, it's what the town wants to do with it. It's the town's truck, it's a very valuable truck, incidentally, it's a very historic truck,
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah.
And so is the hand pumper, but probably the fire truck is more unique than the hand pumper, even though the hand pumper predates it by 60-some years. It's one of the few running Wachusett trucks around. And on top of it, it's a fire truck. It has tremendous potential, okay? There's different types of restoration. You can make it look new. You can sort of go through everything mechanical, make sure everything's structurally sound and sort of preserve it as is. You know, in other words, you can arrest the rust, but it's still there. There's lots of ways to do it. I'm very much in favor of doing it. But if the fire department wants to play with the Wachusett, the town could certainly give it to them and have them take it away, okay? But that doesn't leave us with anything.
What did you mean by the last statement?
You
That's
can-
my last
You
one.
can both those pieces of equipment are the town's.
I understand that.
You are the people that run the town.
I understand
You can take
that.
that and park it anywhere you want.
But Jim, for clarity, because I don't know if you understood what I meant when I said what the Carolinians intend to do. Not that it was meant to say as if though they own it. It's just
No,
that
no,
they have been
I
doing the
realize that.
maintenance on it. And it seems whenever we want to have it for a town function, it's not running. So that's the first hurdle I'd like to see us get over.
The organization doesn't really exist. It's an on and off hobby for a father and son, okay? Yeah, they did a bunch of work getting that thing going a while back. And David Caroline's father-in-law rebuilt the hand pumper. That hand pumper pumps. Because I've been involved in taking it to other towns for other fire department events. At one place, they actually set up an above-ground swimming pool, filled it with water, and we emptied it. It was a big pool. Okay, they had public water system there. And, you know, we had water coming down all over the place. I mean, that thing can really go, and it's a great attraction. So I'm very much in favor of the town doing something with it. It's just that, for me personally, where am I going? I can't do it by myself. I can't climb over that building and fix it. I'm too old. I'm willing to work with people, but nobody's come to me, okay? Other than a very brief comment from maybe somebody in the fire department, oh, we're interested. So, I just want you to know that you're probably gonna get the building back. That doesn't mean you can't have a group in town that takes care of it. Right now, the building is uninsured. We have no money for insurance. Our treasury is zero. We did raise a bunch of money back when we're getting those things running. We did raise a bunch of money, and the money went right into parts and stuff like that. Which leads me to, I have enough paint to paint that building, probably twice over. Donate it. It's in my basement. It's all brand new paint. It's in containers. I would like to bring it to the town and have the town put it maybe in the highway garage in a heated area. With your permission, of course. And in saying that, I think we should do away with the newest Vicente Fire Brigade. I don't think we should do away with getting a bunch of people together and fixing the building up and doing something. It's
Well,
just
it
that
seems that that's never
the club's
happened
gonna-
even, I know, David mentioned previously was that he was trying to get people to volunteer to do the work and to no avail. And that's why the paint's still in your basement. So,
Oh, no, I'm not saying he hasn't tried.
no,
But we need to restart this thing in a whole different way. And I never really thought it was a good idea for the, quote, the club to own the building in the first place. I was never really comfortable with that. Because you can insure that thing in your blanket coverage, property and liability, for next to nothing. Whereas if somebody like a club tries to insure it, it becomes a bit expensive. I mean, you throw that on top of your blanket policy, it's you'll hardly notice it. It's just a few bucks. And it's
how was because I wasn't involved, what was the transaction between the town and the brigade on having that building? Was it a title deeded
Oh, it's deeded.
type?
It's deeded. I believe there's a deed at the Registry of Deeds.
Could you make a note to check on that?
Yeah, I actually have a file on it.
The other thing I do have too is I do have some paperwork. I don't know, do you remember Hazel Moore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her father was the fire chief when the Wachusett was bought. So he was a fire chief when 3 hand pumpers were still going. And she wrote a history of the fire department back from that era. And that still exists, and that's something that's worth taking care of. I'm very much in favor of doing something, and I'll certainly help a group of people. But I think one of the things we thought was when we got started on this thing, that we'd have a whole bunch of people in the fire department jump in and, you know, we would be a handful of people working with a bunch of other people, and that would work good. And I don't want to mention names or anything like that, but it was not a popular idea with the fire department when we started this thing. The existing fire chief wanted to sell everything, and he thought he'd then get the money, he could spend it any way he wanted. It doesn't work that way, and I know you guys know that. But that's ancient history, it doesn't mean much, but.
Do we have a place that Jim can bring the paint and we can store it properly?
Ask,
the
you know
basement,
what, ask Peter, and just,
Just-
Carl, I can give me a call or send me an email and say, okay, you can put it here or
I would
there.
say just bring it here and we'll put it right in the basement here,
Okay.
and Mark can handle that.
It's not that big a
Yeah,
pile.
yeah.
But those buckets are nasty
Yeah.
as far as the weight goes.
Yeah, yeah, it's those 5-gallon buckets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got primer and we got finish paint. And I've been turning them this and that way, you know.
Yeah.
And really, if that building was done over, it's a pretty cool little building. It's the, I don't know what the year on the building is, but the hand tub that was in there was purchased in 1860, so I imagine the building is somewhere in that era.
What's in there? A hand tub, did you say?
No, the hand tub that went in there, it's in the hand tub, the hand pumper.
Oh, the pumper.
That's across the street right now in
That's in the historic.
Yeah.
Historic Society, and I think they knocked a hole in the wall in the building to get it in, because I saw a picture of John Preston when he was a teenager putting the thing in there.
So do you mean that there are 2 or there's only 1?
There are 2
So
of the
there's
3
one.
originals.
Okay.
In 1860, the town purchased from Hunneman 3 hand pumpers. One big and 2 mediums, I guess, or 1 medium and 2 littles. I don't know how they work, okay? One went to Smithville, one went to what we call Bank Village, and the big one went downtown. And that was the fire department from 1860 to 1928. Now that's getting some mileage out of your equipment. All 3 of these hand pumpers still exist. The third one, which was in Bank Village, wound up somewhere down on Cape Cod in a museum or, you know, a display, and it got damaged in a fire. But it's since been restored to its like new condition, and it's privately owned, and I think it's on display somewhere. But it could be found very easily. And they all had names. Okay, they named these things.
Right.
When they came out of the factory, they had names on them. And they're kind of cool. And what I found out is, and this is where it gets to be fun. Everybody likes to ride the Wachusett. But the other thing, with the hand tub, and you got this, you know, you're pumping it up and down, you realize why they had so many people. Oh, we're gonna pump it for 2 minutes or a minute, and it's like hockey lines changing, okay? But when you take that thing somewhere, and you get a bunch of people doing it, and teenagers and kids, they love it. And the first time we took it somewhere, we did something like that. Good thing we had 2 hoses, because we blew the first hose. We let it build up pressure, blew the hose apart. So,
You can
there's a
test
lot
the
of
hoses, I
potential.
guess.
Yeah, they can test the nozzles on that one.
Huh? Yeah, but, you know, what I'm getting at is, there's a lot of potential for this for good community PR and stuff like that. And that's, but, you know, unless we have somebody to do it with, we gotta come back and look at the town to become an active participant. I'm not suggesting tons of tax dollars either, because I think we can get people to donate, I think we can get people to help with things. But
Why do you think it was unsuccessful previously?
we were all too old, and we did not get a good, willing spirit from the fire department. We got just the opposite. Now, I'm not talking about the present chief and the
Yeah,
present administration
yeah.
at all, okay? But it was, I mean, we were told that if anybody decided to come in with us, they'd have trouble at the other end.
I know that there's somebody currently that's not super active, but very interested in the history of New Ipswich and is active with the Historical Society as far as knowing stuff. And they're also mechanically inclined. They got, you know, one of those ones, somebody had a car in the
Yeah.
back of their barn. Oh, that thing doesn't run. The guy says, well, if I can get it running, can I have it? He drove it away that day. So we might have, I mean, and that's the kind of people we need to get involved. So I think if we...
I wanna stay involved too.
Right, and that's it. But I think if we can get the fire department, because of the historical piece of the fire department, and get some people in town that might want to, that have the ability to tinker and fix, I agree. I think all of that. I mean, we keep talking about having the Wachusett run on Memorial Day. I just think that'd be beautiful to have that right up in the front of the parade, heading down the street. I think that'd be beautiful.
And, you know, I'll give you an example. We took the Wachusett down to Fitchburg. This was quite a few years ago. And when they saw it, they moved us to the front of the parade, right behind the parade marker. This was huge.
Mm-hmm.
They would probably love to see it down there again. This is where it was made, okay? This thing is very, very much a part of the area. And of course, you know, Fitchburg is part of this area. It's a, you know, if you look at it, forget the state line, if you look at a community of interest and people, yeah, you can draw a big circle around Fitchburg and it goes over the border and we're part of it. So it seems to me that, you know, there's nothing but good that can come out of it.
So what was the name of the hand pumper?
One was Water Witch, and the one that we have over in the building is Southern Hero. And I don't remember the name of the one in the Historical Society building. I believe Water Witch, I think Water Witch was the one in Bank Village, I'm not sure. I got it written down.
And I've heard that Southern Hero before, and I thought that was like, you know, Ford Taurus. So, Southern Hero is,
I have no idea
Yeah.
what the name Southern Hero means.
Yeah.
Because South Hero is at the north end of Vermont, up in Lake Champlain. I don't think it means a bunch of Confederates running around. So anyway,
all right,
I just, okay, so we can bring the paint here.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the biggest pile of stuff, but my wife said, you gotta get this out of the house.
I was gonna ask you a question, Jim, on the board received a letter from the association at Matthew Commons regarding the property there, that the developer would have been allowed to do more buildings. And there was something in the agreement that it had to have been started or ended or whatever by 2012, I think it was. And this letter that they sent to us is asking that that property on our tax maps be redone. Have you seen that letter?
No,
It just
Yeah.
was hand delivered today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, what it states
Did
is
you
that
get a copy
because
to
they
the assessors?
didn't meet the requirement to have the job either started or completed, that piece of property now becomes common land and should be taxed, split up between all the owners on the property and no longer taxed to the developer, is what I got out of the letter.
Yeah, but one of the parcels is the one where, you know, the old barn, the sawmill is on. And the first,
oh, we're up in Barnsley's neighborhood.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you knew Matthew Commons.
I thought that's where it was, but I had
Yes.
to think for a second.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, same one.
okay.
But wouldn't the association be responsible to do another plat to show that now is common land and have the deed changed and whatnot before the town does anything with it?
I would think at some point that they would have to notify us in such a manner that it would be findable at the registry of deeds. I'm not an expert on that, this part. I can tell you that, it's not unusual, in fact, it's fairly common, if you have a group of houses or buildings, and there's common land that goes with it. And the common land is owned by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They can't sell their interest in it, they can't build a building on it, but you know. And it could be an association, that you don't normally tax the common land because the value is inherent in the value of all, let's say, the houses or condos or whatever else. That's not an unusual thing to do. I see it a lot where you have common land on a lake, a road going down, a beach, a dock. Nobody owns the beach and the dock and the road going down, except all the people on the road. So you tax the houses, because when you look at sales data, when they buy the house, they buy the rights to that. And when those people buy a house there, they buy the rights to the common land.
See, I'm only looking at it from the perspective for the town, because the all of the documentation that would be currently in place is still in reference to these different lots that he could develop.
That needs to be changed.
That would be the onus of the association.
Yes.
So is that something that the assessors or the assessing company would address with them?
I think and I'm just thinking out loud, I'll look into it, but I would think they'd have to address it with the planning board. They wanna change the status of these lots.
Yeah,
They wanna turn it
that's a
into
good
common
point,
land.
yeah.
Okay, fine, okay. I'm not saying it shouldn't be done, it probably should, and a plat should be redone. And if it's done by April 1st, it would be looked at this year. If it's not, it continues on, okay? But that's, I'm just thinking out loud, but I would think they would have to come up with something. They can't just declare it.
Yeah,
There's gotta be something, it's gotta be something legal
I
and
think we should
binding.
send that to Bart for them to look at and advise how we need to address that.
Either that or pull up the plan and see if it states something specific in the plan that was approved by
Right,
the town. And then that might give us an answer there. So I would say let's see if Debbie can pull the plan
Okay.
and review what that says first. And then if we have to go to Bart, but if we can save ourselves a couple bucks and
Yeah.
just find out what it says.
Well, we would need that and the deed to go with it.
Yeah.
Because they're referencing in that.
well, if there's something
Matter what the
recorded at
deed
the
was,
registry
yeah.
that says after such and such a date, if these things aren't developed, they become, I agree with you.
Right.
That's good enough,
Yeah, yeah,
but we gotta be aware of it.
exactly. Yeah, so
I mean,
yeah,
that's-
Debbie can
Okay.
pull that.
Have to be clairvoyant to figure that one out. So you'll let the assessors know on this?
We'll give you a copy of that
Okay,
letter.
thank you.
Thank you.
That was painless. I hope yours is just as painless too. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Good evening.
Thank you for your wishes.
Are you Louise?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry.
My name is Virginia Nodder.
Okay.
I'm here because I'd like to talk about Timber Top Road, but I'm not on the agenda.
Okay, just give me
Yep.
1 minute.
Yep.
No, I had spoken with a woman named Louise who was planning to come tonight.
Oh,
And then at the last minute said, I'm not gonna make it in time. So I
oh.
thought perhaps she had.
So you're the new town administrator?
Yes, I'm Carlotta.
Carla, hello, I'm Virginia.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
What can we do for you this evening?
So, I wanted to say thank you for the attention that has been, put forth on the roads. You know, as the
Thank you.
as the people have voted for, but, however, I wondered if either of, you two who are left as selectmen have driven on Timber Top?
Mm-hmm. You drive on it every day.
Okay, have you driven up past Hubbard Pond Road,
Yes, ma'am.
all the way down to the end?
All the way to the end.
So you've seen, the portion that has, a single coat of asphalt, how it's moved and how it's cracked,
And
both sides.
And that's what you gotta do you understand what that process was with the paving?
I have no idea what the deal was.
It's not a deal, it was
However, what I know is that, you know, I was loving driving on that road, but, you know, so it's been down there about 5 months, and, you know, what I'm seeing is not good in terms of longevity.
Let me explain to you.
Okay, yeah, please do,
That might help a little bit.
please do.
As you've pointed out, and I guess you're aware, Timber Top was paved, but with the amount of money that the voters had voted, and with the additional funds that the state had provided, that allowed us to pave more of Timber Top Road than what we were planning on.
Yep,
So, from that point to Hughes Road,
Yeah.
Hughes Road
yep,
only has a binder on it.
yeah.
Okay. So next year, the plan is to top it. Well, as you know, many roads in town are built with just a binder, and the town requires it to sit through the winter to weather to find out how's it gonna hold up. So we know if there's areas on Timber Top Road that have just the binder before they put the top coat, those would be corrected, and then the top coat would go down.
Yeah, there's substantial areas. I
Well,
mean,
I've driven it myself, and I would not say substantial areas.
You would
No.
not. Okay, so we've had 2 mud seasons, and there'll be more, okay, on that road.
Mm-hmm.
Basically where things have gone to mud. And, there's whole areas of the center of the road that have sunk, that are lower than the 2 outer edges. And all the water is going to the seam, which in places has opened. And there are cracks on the road that are 15 to 20 feet long on both lanes.
Is it the joint between the
No,
two?
no.
Okay.
It's dead center in the, most of them are in the drive lane at, leaving Timber Top. You know, on the binder part. Some of them are going in, and as we,
So,
As-
coming from Ringe to
yes,
Two new
Turnpike,
websites.
yeah,
that's the
Turnpike, yeah.
worst side. That is the worst side. And,
The uphill side.
now that things have frozen again, there's some substantial water issues that, really ought to be addressed. Over by, you know, pretty much right where the, top coat ended, and you've got just binder over by that, large, white split level.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole area there that's trenched, because, you know, the landscape comes down to the road, and the water, without freezing, isn't exiting the trench. There are, culverts, one on one end right by the driveway by that split level, and then one further in, but the water's not going to them. And, you know, part of the problems with the drainage that I'm seeing on the road are the trees are too close to the road. The other thing, I was a little surprised to see that they did a double yellow line down the middle of the road when there's barely enough room for a lane.
We have to put a double line, we're not allowed to put a single line.
Really. I mean, you know, there's barely room for lanes
Yeah.
there.
Well, I mean, what that really, I mean, and we went through this, like, why do we lane them? It really comes to the point of, and there were, just shortly after this discussion happened, we had a night with fog and rain.
Yeah.
And you're driving down that road, there's no lights, your lights are barely going. If you flip your brights on, you're getting blinded by the fog. So having at least knowing that, hey, if I am straddling this and there's no lights coming at me, I'm
on the
safe.
road.
I'm safe.
Yeah, especially
Where-
with those big rocks that are hanging out
Yeah, you
right
got
over
the-
the pavement.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things. At least you know that, or you get that dusting of snow,
Yeah.
and the plows are doing the best they can. But at least you know. Again, there's no lights coming at me. I have a safe lane because I see the yellow line.
So we need that because it's paid for it, because we went without it for years with gravel.
So, let's be serious now, okay?
I'm sorry.
You know, John is right. You got a black road, you go
Yeah.
down there at night, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I can't see it either.
Yeah.
And my druthers would have been to put 2 fog lines, one on each side. Peter's telling us
They're
the
covered with
standards
snow.
don't allow it.
Yeah.
No, just that the standards don't allow you just to put white markings. I said, well, we'll put one yellow one down the middle. Nope, we can't do that. It's gotta be a double yellow line if you put any marking.
Okay.
So we went with a double yellow line.
So, you know, I'm more concerned with the condition of that road.
Well, we'll take a look at it.
It's worse than what you think.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, and they'll go through, and before they do anything over the top, they go through. They'll patch it if there's an area that is in need of repair. That there's things they will do. They're just not going to slap over the top and hope that works, knowing that it's going to crack.
Well, you know what, with cracks, okay, I don't know what the process is you're considering for repairs, but those cracks have come right up through
Binder.
the top coat, through the binder, and they'll come right up through the top coat. You know, I don't know what they're talking about for repairs. You know, maybe, I don't know, I'm not an expert, but, you know, I think even if they crack filled and then paved over that, all the
It's still
cracks-
gonna happen again, yeah.
Yeah,
But we gotta look at to see what it was that caused it. If it's a matter of drainage that's under there that's getting trapped, then we'll have to cut it out, put it in culverts. We know, Peter's aware of what the process is gonna be,
yeah.
but, you know, and thank you for coming in, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying, these are things that Peter, our DPW director, will be looking at to say before they put down, hey, we got a problem here, we gotta do something,
Yeah.
and address it with them.
I did talk to Peter.
Okay.
I imagine he might have, you know, mentioned you that
He did not,
he did not mention.
he did not,
The condition of that road.
no. When'd you talk to him?
I talked to him probably 3 weeks ago.
Oh, 'cause I was gonna say, I
This
just
was
spoke to
after the first
him
mud
last
season.
week, so.
This was after the first mud season. Okay, things have melted. The road has moved, like, I'm talking the roads like this, okay, in many places. All the water's going right to the middle, right to the seam. And, you know, there are places on that road, even in the summertime, that were not draining.
All right,
I know.
wait a
I
minute,
know.
we can put in a closed drainage system with granite curbing.
No, I'm
We-
not
we
asking
can only
you
do
for
so
that.
much.
I'm not asking you for that, okay?
We
I'm-
replaced,
the pl-
we
the-
replaced all culverts on that road,
I know,
added additional culverts.
yep,
So
And you saw the rain that we had, right? You saw the way it rained. It started raining, what, in July or August and just didn't stop. Okay? I'm telling you what I'm seeing, and I told Peter that too.
Mhm.
There are areas where there is no way for the water to drain, and you can't even trench the area because there are huge trees within a foot of the asphalt. And these areas, okay, have caused areas where the water now, because it has nowhere to go, is going right across the road and then it's freezing. There's like 3 areas on that road that's happening to. Peter's aware of that too, and they've been sending a truck down and they salt those areas. Because literally, there are times when there's ice across both lanes. You know, and I know that the amount of rain that we've had has been, you know, I don't know that it's an anomaly. I don't know if it's gonna be the norm. And I think these winters that we're having could be the norm too. We had 3 mud seasons last year, and this year I've already seen 2. You know, and I just, you know, I think with the water problems and with the material that's underneath that pavement, I don't know that, you know, how much did it cost us to pave a base coat for like 1.5 miles? You know, I wonder what's gonna happen, you know, or how they're gonna approach the top coat. I know you said that they're gonna repair the areas.
First of all,
Okay.
I think you've lived there long enough to know that not that long ago, all of the material on that road was removed and crushed gravel was put down.
A bit of it, yes.
All of it. Not a bit of it,
I
all
know-
of it,
I know.
one end to the other.
Yeah, I remember them hauling it away,
Yeah.
digging it out and hauling it
Yeah,
away.
so-
So how much?
So we have good material that was there. The areas where the road was already previously paved
Yeah,
was all pulverized and placed in order to
Yeah, they-
supplement what was there.
yeah, they ground it, put it back down.
It's pulverized in place,
Yep,
okay? We can always look at things and say, well, this isn't right. This isn't right, it's gotta get corrected. When you think of the length of that road,
yeah,
if we've got a few areas to correct, would you agree with me that that road is 99% better than when it was gravel
today it is,
today?
okay? It's been 5 months, Dave.
Mhm, right.
Okay, it's been 5 months.
Yeah.
If you look at that road today, with everything refrozen, and
Mhm.
see what I'm seeing, I mean, really see what I'm seeing.
Did you see any damage on the road
Oh, there are areas.
where, let me just finish the
Okay,
sentence.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Where the road has been both binded and topped? When you're mentioning where those cracks were, is that just where the binder is?
It's almost everything that I'm seeing is just the binder, okay? But there is an area where there's 2 coats that isn't looking so good. And it's actually close to, it's on an inbound lane headed towards Ringe, and it's very close to where they stop the top coat.
In the opposite lane than what you were saying earlier?
Yes.
Before you were saying coming this
Yeah,
way?
Yeah.
the
Okay,
majority
yep.
of the damage that I'm seeing on that base coat is all on the, you know, headed from Ringe into, you know, to
Town,
Turnpike
yeah.
124.
Well, we'll have it looked at and you have it addressed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm, you know, I was loving the road, I gotta tell you. I hated every day of driving out and in on 3 miles of potholes. And potholes that couldn't really be fixed because it was paved, you know, as well as the section that was gravel. You know, and I gotta tell you that Peter goes out of his way to try to keep that road up. He did with the gravel work. I mean, he really did a good job. Considering how much work there is in this town. You know, and I do appreciate that. It's just that I'm very concerned that, you know, if they just pave this top coat on that road, you know, I mean, what's there has been there 5 months and it's moved a lot. Almost every culvert beyond the 2-coat section has sunk. Actually, it doesn't sink. What happens is the road around it heaves. The road heaves at a different rate than the road where the culvert is underneath. So they're like this. Okay, and there are areas, whole areas of the road where the center of the road is sunk. It's the ditch. It's no longer ground.
We'll take a look.
Okay, all right, I will stop taking your time.
Always, you're welcome.
You know, Peter
Please
is
don't
always-
hesitate to ever come in and let us know.
I came and I talked to Peter, you know, and I talked to Mark Hopkins.
Yep.
I talked to him first, and because Peter wasn't there, and then I talked to Peter.
Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate when the citizens actually come in and talk to those people that, instead of just ranting and getting angry, you actually bring it to the people
I'm
that.
happy that we're trying to improve the roads, but I just,
Well, thank you so much for doing it and doing it the right way. We really appreciate it.
okay, I'm gonna go.
All right.
Have a good night.
I'll let you have a good night too.
Good night.
I probably will be back.
Sure.
You wanna make an appointment now?
Follow-up, it'll be follow-up.
All right.
All right, thank you.
I have an appointment at 10 in the morning, so I'll drive it again tomorrow and see if I can take some pictures and just see. But just to see it.
Yeah.
Before it snows again. That way I can.
Right.
I'll try and do it with Peter.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just drive it just
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah. Who did the paving?
R&D.
R&D. Other things on here, we had talked on the CIP for goals with the town of doing some type of town improvements. And now that I'm thinking, it would have been nice to discuss this when Jim was here to see how we can, what Southwest Regional Planning can guide us through. I know other towns have done these types of things, and I believe it's the regional planning commissions that help. Maybe Carlotta, if you could give them a call and see if they could come meet with the board. And-
What kind of improvements are you thinking?
Well, we talked about trying to make betterment improvements in the center village area. I know when we talked about when Woody came in of changing the light fixtures, and I was thinking, oh, on the different than what he was thinking, but you know, making those antique style fixtures. They do brick walks, just something, I don't know, and that's why I'm looking to them to say, hey, you know, this has worked in these towns. Go look at it and say, oh yeah, that
Yeah, that's
would
possible
work.
here. Yeah.
You know,
I can reach out to them. I know other towns have taken advantage of the Plan New Hampshire grants, where they come in and do like they call
a
it a
charrette.
charrette.
Yeah.
I could also see if there's a deadline coming up for that.
Yeah, that would be good information to have. and maybe Southwest Regional Planning may defer it that way, but I thought that they,
Helped.
yeah, or had the expertise to help to say, well, this is how you can go about it, or these are people you can contact, whatever it may be.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
The other thing that we had on that list was the Old Town Hall. We know we have the sill repair coming up in the spring. I spoke to Peter the other day that we had asked them to put in drainage along the sides of the building to keep that from recurring. But do we want to look at the inside of that building, what can be done, what the cost would be?
Yeah, I mean, I say, yeah, let's see what happens when they jack that wall up,
Okay.
and then, because that's going to affect some stuff there. But yeah, let's see what's it going to take to at least get the walls to stop falling apart. You know, the walls are going to have to come down at least. I mean, because it's all plaster and the strapping lath, behind it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we haven't been in there in years. I mean, I haven't been inside the building in 3 years probably now. But I mean, at that point, I mean, just chunks of it peeling off.
But there's ways that they can.
Oh yeah, some of it.
recur it.
Yeah, I mean, we
Did
had
you-
to do that downstairs at the church because we had some areas where we just had to replace it, and some we were able to resecure it and things like that. But I mean, the big issue with that building that you're going to have is there's no heating, you know,
Mhm.
so it freezes, it warms, it freezes, so it's an issue you're going to have constant. But yeah, I think we should, if we're ever going to get to the point where we want to use it, because the floor itself is in beautiful shape. I mean, that thing could be sanded down, refinished, and I mean that because it's just a big square building, you're probably talking a day, 2 days of just renting some minor equipment, and you could have that floor stripped and revarnished and be beautiful again. But the walls and that balcony are your big issues. So,
Did you ever read the report from the architect that the Old Town Hall Committee had? I'll forward it to you. I think I've got it electronically.
Yeah.
That architect out of Dublin, Dan Scully, I think was his name, did a good report on it,
Yeah.
you know, explaining the history and whatnot. But I guess the bigger picture is, you know, you talk heat, I'm thinking water, sewer, you know, those things, and I just would hate to be, we are always putting money into fixing or maintaining that building, and there's no
plan.
benefit coming back to say, hey, now we can use it.
Mhm.
And I think we should get it to that point where,
Well, I mean, that being said, I mean, so, well, we still have the cameras. So, today was Crash for Kids. So, Thursday at Highbridge Hill Elementary School, they have the Messy Canvas Paint Night. This is for the rec department. That is open to grades 4 and up. That's 5 to 8 p.m. It's at $10 per person. Space is limited. And you would pre-register on the rec department website if you haven't done that yet. And then Friday, March 1st at Highbridge Hill is Family Fun Friday. It's an open gym. That's all ages, and that's 6 to 8 p.m. They will have pickleball, basketball, board games, and card games. So there are 2 more events for the rec department during school vacation week. So, but I mean, to me, that's one of those prime things of, you know, you would have a big open space like that for the rec department to be able to hold an event like that. They used to play basketball in there. My brother-in-laws, when they were kids, they said they used to play basketball in the
were they
hotel.
supposed to be?
Yeah, I guess it was like a league. They had hoops that they would
Where?
play inside the Old Town Hall.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, back in the day, they used to, during the children's fair, when it was the other way, where the kids raised plants and animals and all the stuff, and then they would auction it off, and the monies would go to the soldiers. That's where they would auction. They would bring the animals right into the middle of that town hall. They would auction animals off in the middle of that town hall. It was the thing. It was.
Let's try and avoid that.
But I'm just but I think it's one of those things is everyone tries to sanitize it. And you got to remember what an old town hall was not. It was not something. It was
Used.
It was used, especially and in an agricultural area like this was. It was used for all sorts of things. But I just want to. I think I 100% agree. If we're gonna put money into it, I would truly like to do it so we can use it, not just keep it from falling down, which
Yeah.
is what we're doing now. We're just keeping it from falling down, and that's great. How many of those buildings do we have already that I would like us to use it? You know, and it is a beautiful space available.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, we did a concert in there once, and we were brought in a portable screen, set up the screen. I mean, we had everything going in there. It was great. This was obviously prior to so you're talking. I mean, this was probably 15 years ago, but I mean, we probably had.
Had to be a lot longer than that. I
Oh,
don't ever remember them using that building since I've been here,
yeah, we did.
other than the Day of the
Yeah.
Children's Fair,
Yeah, I mean,
storage or whatever.
yeah. No, this was. I mean, this was in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we probably I think we probably had close to 100 people in the audience for a concert / talent show evening, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's an amazing opportunity. I mean, right now, we hear that the library's tight on space for when they do presentations. Great. Now you've got this beautiful building that
Mm-hmm.
you can put and do a presentation, do a real seminar or something in and fill that building. I think it's a beautiful opportunity. If we're going to do it, I really want us to go at it.
Good.
So I agree.
Good. The other thing, just so that you're aware, I don't know if you've spoken to Tim, but he is very, very close to hiring the 6th officer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I spoke to him at the deliberative session. I officially met Officer Hyam. Great kid.
Yeah.
Very excited to be here in town. Has so far really is enjoying being part of the town. So I think that's great. And he did tell me that he's right on the edge of being able to get that 6th officer.
Yeah. Once he does hire him, he will need to go to the academy, and he's trying to get him in the next opening. So. Some things from last week, Colada. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's what I've got on my notes.
Cemetery.
So just to put it out there, just so it's public, we'll get an RFP out for the garage.
For the replacement of the roof on the highway
Yeah.
department.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going down my list from last week.
Do you wanna do the cemetery?
Yep. Yeah, that was topsoil in.
Okay, I'm gonna have to just try and refresh my memory. The area adjacent to the dam estate property, which we use as do me a favor, Colada, and pull that cemetery map that we have of this area.
The one that's hanging on my
Yeah,
wall.
yeah. town may move the graves closer to the dam.
The grave's close to the dam, so that there's
I'll
no
move the
additional
graves
cost.
close to the dam.
Within that.
Wait a minute. If the town, not that we're gonna do it, but it
Mhm.
says you can move the graves that are near the dam, so there's no additional cost, well, why would we purchase the land then from the state?
I don't know. I don't understand that part
Yeah,
either.
okay. And then it says we would also have to provide an emergency staging area.
Right, which you said we discussed an area that was a wide part of the road. The second one is the town agrees to underwrite the additional cost. So it must be,
It makes no sense.
I'm trying to see what the. I don't understand what he means by purchasing the state land. That's the only, because he mentions that in both options.
My understanding is this is the land that the state owns. Okay, this blue line.
Oh, okay,
Farms.
so that's probably what they mean is we'd have to purchase this.
But at first he's saying, well, if you move these graves,
No, I think he means the ones here.
okay,
So like these that went too close,
Yep.
so you can't get a full-size loader in,
right,
you have to move these and then purchase this.
okay. But why do I need to do anything over here? This is not the state land. And there's nothing that tells that we gave them an easement for
And I
that
think,
area.
right, and I think that's what needs to be approached, is that, you know, if there's nothing that says, there's an easement that says we have to go, that we can't go within a certain footage of that,
Mhm.
then that's what's gotta be readdressed to them, because I think that was something we found out after we already met with them. Because
No, it was
in my whole discussion that day that we walked it and everything, I thought we had encroached on an easement, I'm gonna say left to right instead of north to south. So east to west, we encroach on an east to west easement, but and everything that we've looked at, we can't find anything that says we can't go. I mean, we obviously we can't bury on the pipe that runs in there, which is why we stopped where we did. Well, you know, they went as far as they did there and then stopped. But like I said, this whole area here, that goes back to them.
Now, is this saying we've got 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, and this is,
A dozen or so.
right, these two here are well, right here, these are the ones we really have the issue with
Right.
more than anything else. But
Right.
yeah,
Now, they're trying to say, and, you know, you can throw Site 35, toe drain replacement, trenching. So if I look at this here, other than what I'm calling their general conditions and mobilization, etc., they have on here excavation, trench, and install piping with an excavator, etc., is 103,000. Now Bart is saying that they wanted the town to pay 200,000.
Yeah, because what they'd have to do for a one-pass trencher. $220,000. Because if they have the one-pass trencher instead of what they were going to use.
So I'm saying if they're using this instead of this, it would have been the delta between the two numbers. Unless I'm missing something.
So these are the two.
Comparisons.
I think that's what that is. So maybe this is what they would want, because the DeWine one looks like it's the lesser. So they wanted to use a DeWine trenching at $399, and instead they'll have to go the other route. I don't know. Which is another 100,000.
Well, crew labor costs, I mean, they're looking at the entire project. Well, they have costs in here that are gonna be their costs anyhow. I guess what I'd like to somehow get addressed with them, and I thought Bart had sent at one time an email correspondence from the state regarding where do they have documentation that the town granted an easement along the toe of the dam on the town property.
I think I do have an email about that. Would you like me to grab it?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know this one's one that they said almost no matter what, no matter how they do it, that one's in the way. Coming off the road, they're too close.
How would that be too close? You're coming right in. Right?
I don't
Oh,
know.
no. No, we're coming in this way.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the access road here,
Well, what's up? We're not down.
because they,
That's an access road. There's nothing there.
just making sure that, yeah, they didn't put anything in there, just because
Oh, yeah, good point.
you know,
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, he sold it, and that's what we're saying is, I mean,
Yeah.
he's got it plotted out. Unless right now it's still an access road, and he's not. But yeah, the access road's there, and they said that one's in danger no matter what. I remember that in that discussion.
This right here.
Did you download the attached file?
No, I guess I didn't.
Can you download that?
Sure.
Because that says, that's got the,
Download, oh, I have that. This and this.
right. I've read this a dozen times. You can read it. Tell me if you see something in there that says that we've granted them an easement at the toe of that slope.
Yeah, 'cause this is all describing the ball field, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Well, she's referencing here, she's saying, with regard to the issue of no reference to a maintenance easement on your copy of the dam site plan, site 35 plan, the fourth paragraph in the state's deed grants the state a blanket easement. The perpetual right
An easement is
is granted.
to locate, construct, operate, maintain, inspect the dam and appurtenant structures at the above mentioned site number 35.
Right.
But like this, all these points here, this is all describing the ball field, is that correct? Beginning point located.
It might be.
Because-
The meets
because-
and bounds doesn't.
Right, well,
And I don't agree with this, it's saying here that in the state's deed grants the state a blanket easement perpetual to maintain the dam and appurtenances,
well, it,
which would include the tow drain. Because this is a blanket easement, there is no defined meets and bounds descriptive limit of the easement area.
it says the perpetual right and easement is granted to locate, construct, operate, maintain, and inspect the dam and appurtenant structures at the above mentioned site. Also granted in the here and after described area, the right to remove trees, brush, store construction materials during construction, park and operate construction equipment during the construction, to remove excavation from the structure area, and to grade and fill in areas to improve the area aesthetically. And then said rights are granted upon a certain tract of land situated near Smithville in the town of Ipswich, Hillsborough County. And then it starts beginning at the point located.
Right, and if you go on to this part, there is reserved to the grantor the right and privileges to use the above described land of the grantor at any time in any manner for any purpose not inconsistent with the full use and enjoyment of the grantee of the right and privileges herein granted. So, there is no meets and bounds. So as far as this says, if they need to use a one-pass trenching, whatever it is, that's their obligation, not the town's obligation.
Yeah, and that's what I'm reading, is that there's, and that's why I just want to make sure that this states that this easement is only what they're talking about up here. I want to make sure that this isn't stating that it starts, because it talks about X number of feet off of Binney Hill Road.
What is this in feet north, 70 degrees, 30 feet west of.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out.
Okay, just starting right here, being a drilled hole in the base rock and stone wall. the old cemetery, so that's going to be here. That's running north. See the north-south arrow on
Oh,
this thing?
granted.
Yeah, so running north.
That must be north
I don't know how they're running north. For a distance of about 297 feet along the land of Oliver and Lillian Mimi to a stone-bound corner. Right. And is this? Give me that link.
1 inch equals 30 feet.
Yeah. Yeah, you got one of those measurement things on there?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
From there to there. You don't have one?
No.
Come on.
Inches.
12 and a
Wow.
half.
So that's gonna be 360 feet. Oh no, wait a minute, what was that scale?
1 is 30. 1 inch is 30 feet.
Yeah,
So that'd be 360.
360, 375,
So if we start here, but you wanted 250, right?
297 is what they're saying.
So
but-
300. So
Yeah.
Does this other plan offer any?
No, I couldn't read if it was there.
Okay.
All right. So just approximate there. That's 300.
From here,
Yes.
yeah. But they're measuring from that, I'm assuming this is that stone wall?
Yes.
That's what they're measuring from,
So they're going this way.
that way. Yeah, it says north 71 degrees, 30 minutes west. For
So starting
distance.
here, yeah, so they're saying we couldn't, yeah, so they're saying we couldn't use from here.
Well, this is their land.
Right.
And I agree, okay,
Yes.
this is their land, the town did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I responsible for the cost for them to do it all the way down here?
No, here.
Yep.
Yeah. If we have to pay extra, we should only have to pay extra in this section.
Right. And I guess the other thing now is to say there are people that are buried there, so either we buy the land or we do a land swap with them
Mm-hmm.
somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, but, yeah, it's in this, this is the area where, yeah, I mean, you're, yeah, so you're saying in this section, we need to pay extra money. Like,
And and my view is, well, why are we, other than to say, hey, this is their land,
mm-hmm.
we need to reimburse them for it. But if they're gonna have to bring in that trencher to do all of this, why are we even obligated for that? So,
Yeah, and I think again, like it all comes down to there's that one of the party of three that came out that day. One that I think is the stumbling block.
Do you remember which department they were with?
It was a shorter guy.
I don't,
Yeah, I don't remember. Because there was the state's attorney, that was a lady.
yeah,
And there was a taller gentleman who seemed like, when we showed him the bridge, we showed, oh, this, I think we did. But the guy that when we got there, he was walking the dam. He was a shorter gentleman, and I think it's somebody that he's been in prior correspondence in the first round.
because I remember Jay was saying that one of the guys hung back and he was talking to him, he said, oh yeah, he seems to be
Yeah.
all set with it, so.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to, let me just finish reading her email. So we've downloaded that. The deed doesn't say it in this plat. Only shows, and this is reduced, but if you flip it around, this delineates the construction work area, which is that black line,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Which basically is that,
Yeah,
comes up to there,
and goes
Okay.
left.
goes left,
And then-
across, and then up.
Yeah, and this is the easement that.
Yep. Yeah. So it's everything to that side of that black line. Yeah.
With regard to the note on the plan that you referenced, reads dam location, no designated maintenance. What's the thing? I think I sent him a copy of the plan and I wrote a note,
Oh.
no designated easement. She's thinking that that was what we were saying was the recorded plat back
Oh.
in '64. I don't think so. That said, the reference to. The state has a defined construction easement which encompasses the portion of the tow drain or town. Construction easement is designated by meets and bounds description in paragraph 7.
That's this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's this one.
Construction easement, right, that was the construction easement. You built it and you're done. The state's fee simple ownership at the dam for a staging area and part of the tow drain did not come from a deed from them. The title came from Oliver Nemi. The state's fee simple ownership is where the town expanded the cemetery. Right, we never said that that was part of the town, that was a separate.
Yeah.
Okay, respond to him with what we discussed this evening.
Mm-hmm. Something I was, because it was,
Yep.
Whether Mr. Hopkins might be interested in getting back into cemetery trustees. He's just so knowledgeable about the project and everything going on there and what we discussed here. It'd be nice to have someone that,
You wanna ask him?
Yeah.
Tell me he's had enough time off?
well, it's just, I think again, he's got the knowledge.
Good idea.
And he, gets along well with Gary,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yep. I'll reach out to him tomorrow.
Just a few more quick things. Posting of the positions. Did we get the emergency management position posted?
No, I haven't. I haven't been able to find the job description or the ad from the last time we posted it. I've searched through Joanne's emails and her files,
There should be a copy in the personnel file, I'd assume.
in George's personnel file.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good place to check. I asked Lori if she had it from like it being posted
No,
on the
she
website
wouldn't.
or something. She
No.
didn't know about it.
It has a, okay, so that's gonna get done. I saw the note from, gentleman we sold the house to on Temple Road. I don't understand why it's the first quarter by the time they get to it.
Well, he had previously said that we could reach out to his attorney, so do you want me to do
Yeah,
that?
just get that done.
Okay. Cause that attorney works in the same firm as ours.
That's the other thing, is there was a letter from, Jeff Crocker.
I saw
Uh,
that.
If you could contact, the person in that letter to make arrangements. I don't know what documents they have of the town, but
Yeah,
we
how
should
much
get
or-
them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if they're, because they were over in Jaffrey, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if we're not talking hauling thousands of pounds of stuff,
Right. Just go grab
I'm
them.
Yeah, I'm-
assuming
well,
it's
yeah,
one box or
I'm over
something.
there every day. so.
Okay.
Yeah,
In fact, I pass the office
Yeah.
every day.
okay. We do wanna go into a non-public.
Uh,
You got anything else on?
Just,
public?
some of it we'll touch base. Do you know, did we send out anything to Sleeping Monk?
Right, good.
I have a note on that.
Okay.
I have not done that yet, and no, we did not receive a response from,
Warwick Mills here?
right.
Okay.
What about Eversource?
I need to follow up with the Eversource rep to see about doing the comprehensive townwide review. But they did, send us more updates on the list that you had provided.
But they still haven't done them.
Well, they said they did.
Well, the one on River Road and Turnpike Road is still out.
Really? Okay.
And there was another one on Turnpike Road that was out, that was on that list. I
Okay.
haven't gone by within the last, well, the one on River Road I looked at on Saturday night was still out.
Okay.
Carla, do you have the RSA for non-public in your? Alright, motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A3, Section C, matters which if discussed in public would likely adversely affect the reputation of any person or persons.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.